The terror group has almost entirely lost control of Gaza, yet giving up weapons is no guarantee of security. Their most feared leaders are dead, their brigades are shattered, and they have almost entirely lost control of Gaza. Yet Hamas, somehow, is still standing and still has the weapons, well, some, to fight. So turning the ceasefire into lasting peace will depend on forcing or persuading what remains of the group to give up its guns. The trouble is, no one seems quite sure how to do that. This was an agreement of principles that deliberately left the critical issues till later, says Chuck Freilich, a former Israeli national security advisor. And disarming Hamas is, of course, one of the critical issues. With the end of the war, what is Hamas's incentive to really disarm, and who's going to force them to do it? He asks. The disarmament conundrum. The problem is an old one. Giving up weapons, as Muammar Gaddafi and the people of Ukraine can attest, is no guarantee of security. Libya's late dictator gave up weapons of mass destruction in the early 2000s only to face a civil war and NATO intervention in 2011. Soon he was lying dead in a ditch. Ukraine, a democracy, surrendered its nuclear arsenal in 1994 only to face invasion. On the other hand, there can be no true peace without decommissioning. Just ask the people of Northern Ireland, where getting weapons off the streets has been crucial to ending the Troubles. Can enough trust be built to persuade Hamas that laying down its weapons would not be suicide? Can Israel or an international stabilization force find a way to disarm them forcibly? What weapons must go? In the initial draft agreement proposed by Donald Trump, Hamas agreed to the decommissioning of their heavy offensive weapons, a vague term that has been generally taken to mean giving up their rockets capable of hitting Israel, as well as their facilities for building such weapons and their attack tunnels leading from Gaza into Israel. This was not enough for Benjamin Netanyahu, but there is a reason Trump used that wording as a starting point. First, these are the key dangers to Israel. From a security perspective, what are the capabilities that Hamas has to threaten Israel directly with a repeat of the October 7 attacks? Clearly the rockets and clearly the attack tunnels, says Hugh Lovett, Senior Policy Fellow with the Middle East and North Africa Program at the European Council on Foreign Relations. Secondly, it is also something of a fait accompli. Almost all of those heavy weapons, some of which appeared to have been supplied by Iran, plus Hamas's main attack tunnels, have already been destroyed. There's potential for Hamas to rebuild and reconstruct all that, but certainly the fact that it's lost all of this makes it easier for it to give it up, notes Lovett. In other words, it meets immediate Israeli security needs and requires Hamas only to accept reality. The underground city. The next, and more difficult question, is not so much about